Hello. I'm just checking the internet. Hello, Anne. Oh, it comes up here. It comes up here. How you doing? Hello, number two and number three. How are you all? Oh, the phone. This works. Sorry, I'm smiling to myself because I'm now using a mobile phone instead of a laptop. But I've set the laptop up so I could read the messages, but the messages are coming up on the screen, so it's even better. Even better. Wow. Isn't technology wonderful? Isn't it? What do I say now? Anyway, how are you all? Who else is with us? Lizanne and Amanda. Who else is with us? Come on, say hello. Don't be shy. Oh, hello. Oh, this is working out straight. How you doing, Diane? You alright? And hello, Rosalind. I haven't met you. I haven't met Diane either, for that matter. How you keeping? Everybody having a good Friday? Are you all looking forward to the weekend? Anyway, this is much better. Tell me, do you all think the video quality and the sound quality is better? Just so I know, because obviously I have no way to judge it. I'm sitting here talking. But you guys that have watched a few times will know. Glad yous are good. Glad yous are good, Anne and Amanda. So what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, it's better. Quality's better. Sounds better. No music. Hello, Cherie. How are you? Oh, I can do all sorts of... So this is much better on the phone. I can wave at yous all, but I've missed it today, so I don't want to wave at some of you and miss the rest of you. So the next day I'm going to wave at you all as you say hello. Okay. Much better. Hello, Michaela. Hello, Teen. How are yous? Yous all good? Is everybody well? Yeah. So obviously the phone's the way forward, folks. Not the laptop. Well, you live and you learn, don't you? You live and you learn. That's just the way it is. You gotta do these things and try different things. Sorry, I'm trying not to slurp up my coffee. If I do, I apologise. Okay, right, well there's 6 years online plus a couple of extras with you, so that means there's 8 years, so we probably should get started. What do you think? I've maybe talked enough. How long have I been talking? Don't even know how long I've been talking. Too long, sometimes. Too long. Okay. Let's see now what these cards have to bring. These cards are beautifully illustrated, by the way. The camera might struggle to pick up the detail in the cards, but obviously after the session I'll photograph the cards and get them online anyway. But yeah, it's they're quite nice. They are quite nice. Okay. First card. First card. Beautiful card. Sorry, it's the glare off the window. The writing on the card's quite hard to read, but it actually says learning. And if you look at that picture, it's actually a young person or a child learning about nature. They're actually looking at a ladybug on a piece of wheat. There's butterflies all around. It means spiritual growth, spiritual evolution. So, at the minute, I'll hold the card here because then you can see it as I talk. But basically, what this card's telling you all, you're all going through a process of learning. You're all going through a process of evolution. We all are collectively, as human beings, the world over, we're all going through this change in consciousness, change in awareness. Some of us are choosing to evolve. and go with it. And some of us are choosing to stay in the old ways. You've maybe heard me talking about the third dimension and the fifth dimension. We left the third dimension at the end of last year. We're now in the fifth dimension, and we're going through a transition period from now until 2032. Really, would be what I would say is the transition period. Um, but this is a card to probably reinforce to each of you that if you're online here watching me today and you're following me and you have been following me, then you are going through that period of learning. And as with all periods of learning, there are difficulties. A lot of the time, we struggle to acknowledge that a lesson has to be learned. A lot of times we struggle to acknowledge that we're actually changing, and we resist change. We all resist change. It's human nature to resist change. But the reality is we must all change. And this is a card that is telling every one of you that you are learning, even if you don't think you are changing. And it doesn't have to be big, massive steps. And you might not even notice the subtleties of the changes that are happening within your life, but you are changing. Every one of you are changing as you progress through the coming weeks, months, and years, okay? It's a constant process. We don't just learn and then stop. I started this stuff, 15 plus years ago. I'm still learning. Every day I learn something new. And that is the beautiful part of it, but it can also be the hard part of it. The secret is, I suppose, when you're going through the learning, is to acknowledge and accept that some days you will struggle and some days you will be incredibly happy, rejoiceful, whatever words you wish to use. But learning has its ups and downs, okay? And you just got to go with it. But if you weren't sure of what your direction in life is or what your spiritual journey is, I assure each and every one of you, you're going the right way. If you're on here watching me, you are going the right way. And just continue with your learning. Embrace everything. Look at it through the eyes of a child. When a child sees something new, it just looks at it in wonder. And perhaps that's something more of us adults need to do. We need to embrace things with a sense of wonder rather than a sense of fear or a sense of doubt. You don't see kids doubting things. They just look at it and they embrace it and they go with it. We need to do more of the same in order to evolve spiritually. Okay, so that's a good card. Keep up with your learning. If you want to go and learn how to meditate, you want to go and do yoga practice, you want to learn art, you want to learn music, those are all spiritual learning practices. Every one of them, even if you don't think it, they are. Because you're learning something new, you're embracing your inner divine feminine energies, especially if you're doing something artistic and creative. So just go with it. This is a card reinforcing. It's time. It's time for you to do that. Okay. So we'll leave that one there. That's a beautiful card. Learning. Sorry, I'm going to have a drink of coffee again. Okay. So every day is a school day. That's the best way to look at it. Every day is a school day. Wait, we'll see. Now, let's see what the next card is. Okay, this is something I talk about a lot. This is a beautiful card and it's very difficult. It'll be difficult for you to see it on the camera. It's called Hidden Blessings. You see the face of the human looking down into the flower and there's a little life going on in the flower. Hidden blessings. All too often we struggle to see the hidden blessings in things. It's like when a relationship ends or a career ends or a job ends. As humans we struggle to see the positives. But as you'll hear me talking about, there's always a silver lining. And we've got to learn to uncover and see the hidden blessings. A lot of the time we won't see the blessings until many years further down the line, especially when we come out of a bad relationship. We don't always see it, we don't always feel it, we don't always understand it. But when you move on with your life, and you get to that happier place, you then see the hidden blessing that you actually had. So for anybody right now who's going through a really difficult period in your life, whether it be work, relationship, it could be a relationship, not necessarily a partner relationship, it could be with a family, it could be with a member of family, it could be with friends, or it could also be, okay, sorry, I just had a wee bit of guidance there. It could also be your relationship with alcohol, substance, food. I'm hearing the word slothfulness. Okay, so basically, if you're lazy, but you're going through the phase where you're fighting with yourself because you're wanting to do something, your ego will stifle you because your ego likes to keep you in fear. If your ego's keeping you in fear, then you're subdued, you're safe. In theory, you're happy, but the reality is you're not happy. Deep down, you're not happy because deep down you know you should be doing something different, but you're not. And a lot of the time it's because you cannot see what you need to see. You cannot understand what you need to understand, and you're afraid to take that step. But please take the step forward. If you're in that place where you're trying to make a decision and leave a difficult situation, whether it's to be with people, work, food, substance, alcohol, whatever it is, take that baby step of faith, and you will see the hidden blessings when you take that step. A lot of the time you'll hear people saying, seeing is believing. Well, the reality is, spiritually, I believe, believing is seeing. And sometimes you just got to find your faith and take that baby step and trust that it is the right way forward. And if you do that, then you will start to see the hidden blessings in everything around you. Because more often than not, we ignore the hidden blessings because we're too preoccupied with, that didn't work this way. I wanted that to happen that way. It didn't happen that way. This didn't work out the right way. Everything works out exactly as it's meant to work out. As human beings, we fight that. We don't like that because as human beings, we like to be the boss. We like to be in control. And the reality is, there's none of us in control of anything. Period. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're meant to experience an event, a situation, a hardship, you will experience it regardless. You cannot avoid it. If it's part of your life's journey, then it's part of your life's journey. And you got to go with it. Yes, we do have free will. Yes, we can make conscious choices. But ultimately, we will experience whatever it is we are meant to experience at some point. Now, if you delay it now and miss it now, then you'll experience it later. Okay, because that's the way it works. So learn to see the hidden blessings in everything around you, and that includes the hardships that you might be suffering right now. And I know that's difficult when you're in that dark place, but when you start to see the blessings, then life gets easier, and you start to see the way forward, you start to see the way out. Okay, so I'll leave that one with you. You'll all know if you have things around you right now where you're struggling to see the positives, but there are positives, I promise, there are. And the more trusting we are, the more of the positive we will see and be shown. Sometimes when we're in a rock and a hard place, we're too preoccupied with the savagery of what it is we're experiencing to allow the goodness to actually show itself. But I promise it's there if you trust and learn to relax enough to see it. What do I say? What's next? Okay. There's a few today. Everybody's skiving on a Friday. Is that what it is? Control. Okay. This ties into that last card quite nicely. This card's called Control. Again, another stunning card. Okay. Another stunning card. If you look at the card, there's a beautiful being carried. Well, it could be an eagle, I suppose. It's hard to know what it is, but you'll know when you get a look at the photographs later. She's not in control. The bird is in control. The bird is carrying her, taking her wherever she needs to go. And I guess, yeah, it ties back into what we were speaking about a moment ago. As a spiritual being, we relinquish control. We strive every day to give up control. By giving up control, then we allow the universe to take us where we need to be, when we need to be there, and how we need to get there. As human beings, ego beings, we need to be in control. We don't like not being in control, and the two conflict. Okay, and that's the biggest issue most spiritually evolving people will have with their spiritual journey, is getting rid of the ego. I talk about the ego all the time, and it's something that's in our lives. It's part of who we are. It's part of our makeup, and that's okay. It's a beautiful thing in many ways. It keeps us safe. It helps us with certain things, but from a spiritual perspective, it totally dominates and tries to control our spiritual growth. So by waking up every day and saying, thank you God, or thank you Father, Allah, whatever word you wish to use, for allowing me to awaken and enjoy another beautiful day, I let you control and drive my day. By saying something as simple as that, it opens you up. It puts the right energy out there into the universe that you're open to go with whatever. And what it comes down to is something I've been taught for many, many years, is living in the moment. All too often, we're all thinking about yesterday and worrying about it, which is the past, and we can do nothing about it. But then we're also sitting worrying about tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years. What if I don't meet my perfect partner and get married? What if I don't have children? What if I don't do this? What if I don't do that? None of that matters. None of that matters. And by constantly thinking about it and trying to control it, you actually end up blocking yourself from getting what you actually need and what you actually want. Because you're trying, the energy you put out there when you're trying to control a situation or trying to demand or dictate that it goes a certain way to suit you, you then automatically put that heavier energy out there into the ether, and you create that which you do not want to experience in the first place. So by simply living in the moment and accepting and honouring whatever comes, and by giving up that control, that need to control everything, you then allow what you really want to naturally attract and come to you. And it's a huge thing that control is a huge issue for human beings. I've struggled with it. Jesus, I've struggled with it for years. I wasn't prepared to do X, Y, and Z because I needed X, Y, and Z in place in the first instance. Didn't work out that way, and those that know me know it did not work out that way. But it took me maybe to experience that, to understand that you've got to release, you've got to simply live in the moment. You can't be worrying about tonight or tomorrow. You might never be there. You might never get there. But if you're living right now and you're enjoying the moment right now and enjoying your journey and seeing the hidden beauty in everything that's around you, then you're living in the right frame of mind and you are enjoying your life the way you're meant to enjoy it. Okay? Control's a hard one. Everybody struggles with it. And I'm no different. I'm not going to sit here and preach from an ivory tower. Yeah, I struggle with control sometimes too. Sometimes I'm that petulant 3-year-old child that wants this and I want it yesterday. I'm no different, you know what I mean? But then I bring myself back into line and go, sort yourself out, okay? And we must try to relinquish control. And it's not easy, especially when you're suffering in a dark space or having a dark night of the soul, as we would call it, okay? You're okay, Kate? You're okay, Lynn? How are you? Doesn't matter if you're late. You can rewind this anyway. I think you can rewind it. How's sunny Aberdeen today, Lynn? Not so sunny? Or is it alright? Okay. How are we doing for time? God, I've talked a lot. I've only had 3 cards and I've talked a lot. What's that about, folks? What's that about, eh? Maybe those cards needed the deeper conversation. I'm glad you're good, Lynn. Glad you're good, old friend. Where will I see? Let's see what the next card says. Right. I love the way these cards always follow on from each other. positive-minded people. Okay? Really, really important. I'll hold it down here because it's easier. When we're negative-minded, and this ties into that last card about giving up control. When we go around with a negative mindset, again, I believe everything in the universe is energy. Everything is energy, and we will attract what we create. Okay? So if you walk around with a negative head, my life's shit, my life's this, my life's that, you will attract more of the same, even though that's not what you want. Okay? The only way you can counteract that is, and you're maybe programmed that way, because most of us are, we're programmed to be doer and down in the dumps. The way to counteract it is every time a negative thought comes into your head, switch it around. Get into the habit of switching it around. Get into the habit of going, no, fuck that. That's not how I think. And say something positive instead. Okay? You've got to turn it around. By thinking positively and getting your mind into thinking positively every time a negative thought comes into your head, you're then putting out the positive vibration, the positive energy. And by putting out the positive energy, you will attract more positivity to you. Now, that doesn't say that you won't suffer hardships. It's not to say you won't suffer difficulties, because that's not life. We all suffer difficulties. That's just the way it is. How we relate and how we react to those difficulties is the secret. Okay? As I've said many times, doesn't matter what happens in your life, you can look at it from a negative perspective or you can look at it from a positive perspective. And yes, sometimes in bad situations, it's not easy to see things in a positive way. But if you give yourself the breathing space and the quiet time, usually positives will show themselves at some point. Okay? It might be that you've learned something deeper about yourself and what your needs are. It could be that you've learned something about somebody else. It's not always easy, but trying to keep a positive slant on your life will create a more gentle life for you. If you're constantly wound up, constantly angry, constantly frustrated, pissed off, whatever words you wish to use, that is inside you all the time. That is churning up inside you all the time. And eventually, it's going to create sickness within yourself, disease, illness, yeah, absolutely. So by not living in that dark energy all the time, you're not creating these things within yourself. Okay? It's incredibly difficult to be positive all the time. That's not natural or normal either. Okay? But you got to try. You have got to try. Okay? And if you are surrounded by negative people, then sometimes you got to just put them in a little pink bubble and just leave them to it and learn to switch off from their negativity, because we've all had it. We all have negative people in our lives. Me, yeah, I just switch off, and I probably look quite ignorant when I do it, because you can see in my face I can't be bothered. And that's okay. That's how I am, and that's perfectly okay. And more often than not, I will distance myself. I was socially distancing myself from negative people long before COVID, because I needed to. But the reality is, we all need to. We all need to keep ourselves away from. Now, that's not to say if one of your friends comes and they're having a tough week and they're having a good morning, that's not to say that that's unacceptable. That's how life is, and we need to be there for our mates. But if somebody's constantly in your space and constantly dragging your energies down because they are moaning, because they are a negative fueled person, then you are entitled to back yourself away from that and leave them to it. Okay? You're under no obligation. And it's really important to remember that. It's not selfish, it's self-preservation. Okay? So try and surround yourself with more positive minded people. And if you're a negative type of person, you got to start seeing the positives. Every time a negative thought comes into your head, switch it for a positive thought and start doing it consciously. And the more consciously you do it, the quicker it will change and the sooner you will become a more positively minded person. Okay? Not easy. It won't happen in a week. Trust me, it won't happen in a week. But you got to do it. Alright? That's a beautiful card. Oh my God, we're nearly out of time and I've only done 4 cards, folks. Oh, these cards are deeper than I thought. Will we do one more? Does everybody want one more? No? Yeah? Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. We'll maybe do a couple more. We'll be cheeky. It's Friday, eh? You just can have an extra long skive off work. What do we say now? Where do we see? What have we got here? Right. Yeah, one more, McKenna. Absolutely. Yeah, Lynn. No bother. Where is he? Oh, yes. This is one of my favourite cards. Because we all need them, and most people step the fuck all over them. Boundaries. Boundaries. We all need boundaries. We all need our personal space. We all need our time. We all need people not to take advantage of our good nature. We all need people to respect us as people. But more often than not, people take the piss. They walk over us. They take advantage of our good nature. And then when we need help, they're never to be seen. So, and this is going to grate on some of you, because it grated on me when it was pointed out to me many years ago. When somebody takes advantage of your boundaries and crosses your boundaries, is it their fault or is it our fault? Because we allow it. Now, take a wee breath and call me whatever names you wish to call me for just pointing out that people taking advantage of you is in fact your own fault, because it is. And certainly those that have taken advantage of me, it was my own fault, and I freely admit it. But obviously, this might get some of your hackles up. It's not meant to get your hackles up. Well, actually, yeah, it is, because it makes you think again about, okay, somebody takes advantage of me. Why is it my fault? It's your fault because you allow it. You don't have the... And this stems back to things like self-esteem, self-respect, low self-worth. And that comes from your chakras not being where they're meant to be, producing the energy that they should be producing. Your base chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra. If you haven't got the confidence to tell someone, do you know what? You're overstepping the line. If you haven't got that confidence, you then need to look at yourself and ask, why do I not have the confidence? Is it because I'm afraid that I'll lose a friend? Is it because they won't speak to me? Is it because there'll be an argument? So what if there's an argument? If you saying to someone, do you know what? You're taking the piss. I've had enough. If that causes an argument, then they're not in a good space either. And maybe they're not meant to be in your life. Full stop. There's no reason why any of you cannot say to someone, do you know what? You're crossing the line. I would like you to stop. I need my space. I need my time. Stop taking advantage. If you cannot say that to someone, then have you really got the friendship you think you have? Have you really got the relationship you think you have? Yes, I know not everybody can cope, and I know it's not easy to say to someone, hey, you know what? You're crossing the line. Sometimes we've got to distance ourselves from it. Whatever way is easiest for you to deal with it, then you deal with it. But if someone is crossing your boundaries constantly and you're struggling to figure out a way to deal with it, ask the angels, ask your spirit guides to show you the gentlest way forward in dealing with it, and then trust. Go with it, okay? But boundaries is really important. And equally, people crossing your boundaries. Whose boundaries are you walking all over? Where are you taking advantage of people? Works both ways. I'm not saying there's anybody here watching who's doing it, but there is a possibility. So have a think about that. If somebody says to you, I'm okay to do this myself, and you insist, no, I'll do it, are you crossing their boundaries? Even though in your head you're doing it because you're a good person and they need the help? Or are you doing it because it makes you feel good? Savage card, this one, isn't it? Boundaries. Very good card. Very good card. Have a think about that one over the weekend. Okay? Whose boundaries do you cross? But who crosses yours as well? Okay? Beautiful card. I love these cards. Can you tell? Can you tell I love these cards? Do you just want one more? Will we do one more? Because we're going good. There's 11 of you as well. That means there's 13 or 14 of you. Because I know some of you are sharing. Will we do another card? Or will we leave it there, folks? Because I'm conscious of the fact we've been going 35 minutes now. Hello, Michaela. How are you? Hello, Ronan. How are you? What do you think, folks? Will we do one more? Yeah, one more. Okay, you're obviously loving them too, Amanda, are you? Sorry, some of that feels like I was being a bit savage today. Sorry. It's not always me talking, you know. Oh, aye. You alright, Lynn? You alright, Lynn? I won't say a word. I won't say a word. Promise. Right. I bet you're laughing. I bet you're laughing. Lynn Stewart. Yes. Beautiful card to finish on. Perfect for the weekend. You keep slacking. You keep slacking, Amanda. Here you go, Michaela. Nurture. Beautiful card to finish on. Okay? Yeah, I know you're laughing, Lynn, because I'm laughing thinking. Yeah. Nurture. Over the weekend, I want all of you, even if you only take 5 minutes, to sit down and think about what it means for you to nurture yourself every day. Nurturing yourself every day could be drinking more water, consuming less caffeine, having an extra 10 minutes in bed, having a bath, allowing yourself to have the time for a bath, allowing yourself to have the time once a week, once a month for a massage, for a pedicure, manicure, a facial, whatever it may be. How do you nurture yourself? I guarantee most of you, because we all have busy lives, all of us, I'm no different, we probably don't take enough time to nurture ourselves. Tell you what, all he is, just when you're on here, close your eyes for me. I love getting you to close your eyes. Just close your eyes for me. Come on, take in a couple of nice big long deep breaths down into your tummy, up into your chest. Slowly exhale. Nice long deep yummy breath. Up into your chest. Slowly exhale. I want each of you to keep your eyes closed and just hear these words as I say them. And then trust what comes into your mind. Dear divine soul of mine, dear divine inner child of mine, I ask you to please come forward to me in this moment and tell me what I should do over the weekend to nurture myself. Trust the first thing that came into your head. Doesn't matter what it was. Even if it's only shaving your legs, shaving your armpits, whatever, washing your hair, whatever came into your head, please do, okay? Please do. And nurture yourself, all right? Doesn't matter what it was. We all got to learn to listen to our inner child. We all got to learn to listen to our higher selves. And the only way we can listen to them is to do the breath work, go into our quiet space and ask them to come forward, do a meditation, whatever, okay? So I hope you've all got something from that. It's really important to nurture ourselves. The person in this card, it actually looks to me like it's a mermaid with angel wings. You'll know yourselves when I put the photograph up. Looks to me like a mermaid with angel wings. And they're just lying at the side of a river, and their hair is in the river. The water is obviously cleansing them, and they're having a sleep. They need the rest. Okay? So, do whatever you need to do to nurture your needs. It might be eating more veg, it could be eating more protein. It could be absolutely anything, but trust whatever comes into your mind. And if nothing came into your mind during that, throughout the course of the rest of the day, just keep asking yourself, ask your soul and your inner child, what do I need to do to nurture myself? And eventually you will hear something, or you will see an image of something, you'll get a feeling about something, okay? Oh my God, we're very long today. Folks, I will call it a day there unless you really want me to do another card. Do you want me to do another card? I know some of you are maybe enjoying this, guys. Excellent, Amanda. Excellent, yeah. Treat's important. We gotta look after ourselves. And equally, it could be doing less of something when we nurture ourselves. It could be worrying less about the housework. It could be, oh, beautiful, Lynn. Oh, you see now. I was in Aberdeen, I'd be phoning you. Anyway, you enjoy it. You enjoy it. But nurturing ourselves could be doing less of something. It could be stressing less about things that you don't need to be stressed about. It could be not worrying about always having the house tidy in case somebody calls at your door. It could be not worrying about getting the washing all done by this day so you don't have to worry about it that day. Just go with the flow. Nurturing ourselves comes in many, many forms. And it could even be putting your makeup on, if that's what makes you feel good in yourself. If you need that to feel good, so be it. Do it. But maybe you've been neglecting that because we haven't had to go anywhere, because we're wearing a fucking face mask that covers half of our face. So perhaps you haven't been doing it, but maybe you should. If that's something you would feel good about, just do it. Okay. Now, nobody has said any more cards, so I'm going to leave it there, folks. All right. I've been talking 40 minutes, and these are all only supposed to be 30-minute sessions. I sincerely hope you've all enjoyed those cards. I certainly have enjoyed them. They're beautiful cards. Beautiful cards, incredibly well illustrated. They're nice heavy cards, chunky, they're big. Okay. Okay, as in the nurturing, Michaela? As in the nurturing? Tell your mother, Michaela, tell your mum, Teen, you nurture that little boy. And you know you do. You need to nurture yourself the same way. Because you don't. Okay? It's amazing the things that come into your head, isn't it? So that's what that's about. You need to look after yourself more. You're maybe too busy looking after everybody else and not looking after mini you inside. Okay? So you start looking after yourself the way you look after that wee boy. Okay? That's the message. That's the message. Does that make sense? Anybody else want to ask anything when we're on here? She does, baby. Yeah, absolutely. I know she does. But she needs to baby herself as well. Even as adults, we've got to baby ourselves. It's not wrong. It's not inconsiderate. It's not anything negative. We all have an inner child. Our inner child is part of our divine soul. And that inner child needs nourished and nurtured. Exactly the same as you would with a little baby. The problem is we all forget to look after ourselves and look after our childish needs. She said she used to. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Good. That's good. Anybody else want to ask anything? He is all away. Will we end it? Will we call it a day? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Nana has them spoiled. Nana has them spoiled. That's most nanas do that, don't they? Most nannies do that. Because when mommy and daddy say no, nanny, and granda say, here you go. Then when mommy says no or daddy says no later, they're the worst. I hate you, you're awful. Isn't that right? We've all experienced that. All of us. Okay, if everybody's happy, I'm going to call it a day. Folks, thank you so much. It's been a joy. Getting this phone to do the work is so much better. Because it makes it so much easier for me, but it has taken a bit of work to get it sussed out and figured out. Certainly I feel that the picture quality certainly looks so much better, and I hope it comes across to you guys as better quality. I hope the sound quality is much better, and I'll see you all next week. There's something in my head about Monday. No, I think this Monday's okay. I'll probably do another one of these on Monday. I'll decide over the weekend what I'm doing. You're very welcome. All of you are very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. I hope none of you felt like I was giving you too much of a kick up the backside. But sometimes we need a kick up the backside. All of us, me included, Sometimes when spirits come through, they're not so subtle. I try and be gentle, but sometimes spirits are not gentle. They can be very matter of fact. Quite like a 5-year-old child, they'll just say it. But anyway, thank you all. I'll stop shuffling them. We're not doing any more. Take care. God bless. Have a beautiful weekend. And remember, nurture yourselves. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care, folks. Lots of love. Bye-bye.